Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Now today I'm going to share with you 7 tips that have really helped me clear over £10,000 worth of debt. Now I'll be honest, this isn't the full picture, so please do take these tips with a pinch of salt, but I wanted to share with you a few things that really helped when it came to paying off my debt and stay motivated throughout a debt-free journey, because we all know how long it can take to clear that debt. So let's get into it straight away with number 1. So the first one is an emergency fund. Now an emergency fund has saved me so many times on this debt-free journey. I cannot explain how much. We have had all types of emergencies. Huge car bills, family emergencies, loss of income, everything. An emergency fund has really helped me during those tricky times. And the reason why I found it so helpful is because when you're going through an emergency, you do need to spend money, and often if I didn't have that emergency fund there, it would be likely that I would then have to turn to a credit card or some form of loan. But the emergency fund stops you relying on any form of credit, and it gives you the chance to sort yourself out, get through that tricky time, and then continue with your debt-free journey. Number 2 is side hustling, and this is a fun one because you can get creative and it's a bit spontaneous, and side hustling has helped me a few times on this debt-free journey, but there's 2 key times where it really stands out. The first one was when I was getting married, and the second one was at Christmas time, maybe a couple of years ago it was now. Those particular times I really focused on using mystery shopping, survey sites, and all those types of little small gigs to really help me make additional money to pay for things and ensure that I wasn't relying on any form of credit. Now we all know how expensive weddings can be. We was able to get married for roughly around £2,500. We used lots of budgeting and money saving hacks to save money towards our wedding, so please do let me know if that's something you'd like me to do a video on. In addition, as I mentioned earlier, I also side hustled for Christmas, and I set myself a goal, and then that meant that every day I was logging into mystery shopping sites and doing surveys to try and reach that goal. I use a side hustling tracker to help me keep track of what money was coming in and what money had already been paid, and it was really helpful because it really helped me stay motivated and it really helped me focus on reaching that goal. The next one is communication. Now I really struggled at the beginning with communicating with my friends and family about the situation I was in. I found it very difficult because, as we all know, debt is something that's seen as a shameful thing and it's got a stigma attached to it. So at the beginning I would often find myself just cancelling every single event because I was just ashamed of the situation I was in. I didn't feel I could tell anyone that I was on a budget. But actually, over time, I learned to embrace it. And what I realised was when I was on my debt-free journey and I was starting to achieve amazing things like cash funding a wedding, cash funding a car, and starting FMF planners, I started becoming proud of my debt-free journey because I realised that there was so many amazing things that was coming from debt. I was then able to feel confident in myself to tell friends and family, actually, you know what, I'm on a budget. For now, can we just do something that's either low cost or cost free? And a lot of the times we can do that. I've met up with a few friends and family members over the course of this year, and we've barely spent any money. We've often just headed to the park, gone for a walk, popped over to each other's houses. It's been so cheap and affordable, and we've had such wonderful times. So being very open and honest with friends and family have really helped during the debt-free journey. The next one is a double one really, and that is a bill audit, but let's include groceries in there too. So a bill audit is basically where you check every single bill that you pay for every single month and question if you're getting a good deal for it, and also question if you actually still need to pay for that bill. The first time I did this, I could not believe that I saved nearly £150 just on cancelling bills and subscriptions. It was like the easiest money I had ever made, and I realised that I had so many subscriptions that I was no longer using. I was getting a rubbish deal on my energy suppliers, and I was making huge savings just by going through and using the comparison site and making sure that I was getting the best deal. What I've noticed as well is since then is this is a task that I need to be proactive with. Every 6 months or maybe annually, I like to check again. And then also on top of that, if my situation changes, so for example, when I had a baby or my income changed and I was on a much lower income, the first thing I did was a bill audit, and it really helps me live within my means. In addition as well, I realised how important groceries are. Groceries, honestly, I feel are a budget buster. They're those hidden costs where you're able to blow your whole budget by spending money on groceries and you don't even realise it. So since I started taking my groceries seriously, I'm able to use that money towards my debt payment each month, and honestly I don't think I'd be able to still pay off my debt. So if you want any tips to find out on how to save money on your groceries, I have a huge playlist which I'll link here that has all the grocery tips that I use to help save hundreds of pounds each month. So the next one is refusing to use credit. Now maybe this is a little bit of a controversial one, but let me explain. Now, something I've always struggled with, spending money in the moment, but when I decided to change my mindset and realised that actually I am not using credit again, I'm going to focus on getting this debt down no matter what happens. Everything changed, and since then I have faced a lot of challenges. My car broke down, it meant that we didn't have a car for a few months. We got married, it was very tempting to spend money on things that we wanted for our dream day. There's so many things, you know, even last year, loss of income, credit was thrown in my face, and it was so tempting to just go, let me sign up for the credit so then I can live a bit more comfortable. Now I'm pregnant, it's a pandemic, let me just sign up for it and then I'll deal with the issues later. But I didn't want to deal with that. I wanted to ensure that when I sorted my income out, I had my full income so that I could focus on building a better future and not having to pay for the past. Saying no, saying that I refuse to use credit whilst I'm on a debt-free journey meant that I was able to get creative, I was able to get crafty. I honestly feel like if I knew I could spend more and I had more cash to hand, I probably would have bought the items that I didn't need. And in the future, when I'm debt-free, I have no doubt that I will probably get a credit card. I will be using credit to help build my credit score and for security, but I won't be using it to rely on. That is the key. Then the next one is to use trackers. Trackers are amazing and have really helped me stay motivated on my debt-free journey. Now, whether it is using a tracker to track the actual numbers of the debt or using a tracker to track your no spend days, it really helps break that overall big scary goal into small baby steps, and that's what keeps me motivated. There's so many times where I'm thinking, gosh, I feel like I'm not making any progress. I found it so hard when I went from making £400 a month payments to £150 a month payments. I felt like I was barely making any difference, but seeing the tracker really helps keep me motivated. And the more you fill it out, the more exciting it becomes because you can see how much progress you've made. Another bonus tip to add in here is to keep the tracker in places where it's often in your view. So I do tend to keep my debt freedom tracker on my fridge because every day it's a reminder of what I'm working towards. Every day I'm seeing the progress, and what I love about the tracker is I can see how every single payment has brought me closer to that goal, and that's so exciting. Finally, the last one is to create a realistic budget. Now, when I first started budgeting, I used to think budgeting was where you basically said no to yourself all the time. I thought it was where you had to be responsible and you had to be an adult and you was only buying things that you needed, such as your household bills and food. But actually, budgeting isn't that. Budgeting is a spending plan where it gives you permission to spend money on the things that you really want. Game changer for me is realising that I can do both. I can save money towards Christmas and to my emergency fund and towards my house deposit, but then I can also treat myself to a coffee, to some clothes, and to going places. You can do both. A budget is just simply a plan of how you plan to spend your money. So once I realised that changed everything for me, and I always ensure that I save first, but then once I've saved, I'm done, I'm happy with that. Then I'm going to always ensure that I treat myself to things that I really enjoy. On Friday, I was feeling a bit rough. I've had a really tough week. I walked past Starbucks and I thought, I'm going to treat myself to a coffee, and it was nice knowing that there was money in the budget to have that coffee and have no guilt. And there we have it. that is the 7 tips that have really helped me on my debt-free journey. As I mentioned earlier, it's not the full picture, but I wanted to share with you a few tips that have really helped when it comes to paying over £10,000 worth of debt. I've just got maybe about £2,000 left, and I honestly can't wait to become debt-free, which will be in less than a year's time. So please do let me know, what's the number 1 tip that has really helped you when it comes to paying off your debt or reaching any form of financial goals. But anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.